Welcome to Guide Mia. Today we're going to talk about fill holes and smooth Cympha Studio's 2 gentler whole surface cleanup commands. This one is for clinicians and lab designers whose mesh is mostly correct. It has open boundaries you want closed everywhere, or high-frequency surface noise you want relaxed, but it doesn't need the heavier non-manifold and largest region steps that fix model runs. In the next few minutes you'll know when to reach for each command instead of fix model or the brushes, how to run them from the right-click menu, exactly what each does to your geometry, and how they pair with the rest of the cleanup toolkit. Follow along in Studio, or just listen now and read the written guide later. Here's the shape of it. Fill holes and smooth are whole surface commands, each runs over the entire mesh in a single click, no region to paint, no parameters to set. Fill holes closes the open boundaries everywhere at once and finishes with a light smoothing pass. Smooth relaxes surface noise across the whole mesh and does nothing else, no holes closed, no triangles removed. That whole surface nature is the key fact, neither command can limit itself to one area. If your mesh has one good region and one bad region, and you only want to touch the bad one, these are the wrong tools. The brush tools give you that control, and they have their own lecture in this series. But when the symptom really is everywhere, gaps all over, or noise all over, one click here beats 20 brush strokes. The setup is the same as for every standalone cleanup command in Studio. You need a mesh already added to the scene, through Add Model, open Optical Scan File, or drag and drop. Studio takes STL, PLY, and OBJ. And you need no Guide Mia case loaded, both commands only appear on the right-click menu for user-added meshes when no full case is open. If a case is loaded, use Clear Scene from the hamburger menu first. Sign into studio.cympha.com, open your mesh, and right-click directly on the mesh body in the 3D view. The menu opens at your cursor, and its title shows the file name of the mesh you clicked, so on a 2-arch scene you can confirm you're about to edit the right one before you commit. Click outside the menu, or press Escape, to close it without doing anything. The right-click menu offers 3 whole surface choices, and picking the right one saves rework. Pick Fill Holes when the mesh is structurally fine but has open boundaries you want closed everywhere at once, a scan with several small gaps the scanner didn't capture, or the result of a Boolean cut that left holes along the cut path. It runs the whole fill twice, adds a slight smooth, and, importantly, leaves disconnected islands alone. Pick Smooth when the topology is fine and the boundaries are how you want them, but the surface itself is noisy, stair-step artifacts on a low-resolution print scan, speckle from a phone-derived facial scan. It changes only vertex positions. And pick Fix Model when you want one conservative pass that handles everything, including non-manifold cleanup and dropping disconnected pieces. That command has its own lecture. The differences sound small, but they decide whether a detached shell survives and whether your boundaries move. Running Fill Holes, choose it from the right-click menu, and the viewer shows a wait cursor while the pipeline runs on the main thread. Expect a couple of seconds on a single arch, longer on dense meshes. The status line at the bottom of the viewport tells the story, running global pipeline at the start, and on success, fill holes complete, global plus slight smooth. On failure it reports a reason, such as empty result. What actually happens is 2 passes of the global hole fill filter, then a light smooth. Why 2 passes? Filling holes once occasionally exposes a secondary hole, a thin sliver of missing surface that only becomes closable after the surrounding triangles are stitched, and the second pass catches those. One deliberate limit to know about, very large openings are left open. There's a size ceiling so the filter never bridges across a missing tooth and pretends the bridge is real surface. If a big opening survives, that's the ceiling doing its job, troubleshooting covers what to do. Smooth is even simpler. Choose it from the right-click menu, wait through the same wait cursor moment, and watch for Smooth Complete, Global, in the status line. What it does, a single global smoothing pass over every triangle. No hole filling, no triangle deletion, no topology change, the triangle count and connectivity are preserved, and only vertex positions move. 2 practical notes. First, smoothing is cumulative. Running smooth twice has roughly double the effect of running it once. So if one pass isn't enough, just run it again. That's the intended way to go stronger, not reaching for a brush. Second, know when to stop. The moment anatomy starts to visibly soften, you've gone one pass too far. Ctrl-Z restores the previous geometry, but it's a one-step undo, so it can only take back the most recent pass. To get further back, you re-import the original file. Which is, as always in this toolkit, the argument for keeping a backup. These commands are designed to combine cleanly, and the order matters. The typical repair sequence on a noisy scan: add the model, optionally run fix model for one conservative global pass, then the brush tools on any specific area that still looks wrong. Then fill holes if any boundaries are still open after the local edits, brush deletions can leave openings, and smooth at the very end, if you want one more relaxation pass over the finished surface. One habit to avoid: don't follow fix model with fill holes as a default. Fix model has already run 2 hole fill passes of its own. Adding fill holes on top only makes sense if you can still see an open boundary it left behind. The mental model: fill holes is the targeted follow-up for surviving boundaries, and smooth is the finishing coat, the last thing you do, not the first. How do you know either command did its job? Take them one at a time. For fill holes, the status line reads fill holes complete, global plus light smooth, and the open boundaries are closed. The surface will be slightly smoother than the input, because of that light finishing pass, but it should still be entirely recognizable as the same scan. If the anatomy reads softer than that, something went further than intended. For smooth, the status line reads smooth complete, global, and the high-frequency noise is reduced, the stair-stepping, the speckle, the triangle scale roughness. The tell that it behaved is what did not change, the triangle count is the same, and every hole is exactly where it was. Smooth never closes an opening. And in both cases, the mesh entry in the models list is still present, with its color and its visibility settings intact, only the geometry underneath was rewritten in place. The failure modes are few, and each has a clean answer. The commands aren't in the right-click menu: a case is loaded, clear the scene, or you right-clicked case geometry rather than a user-added mesh. Fill holes reports complete, but a big opening is still there. The hole was larger than the filter's size ceiling, so it was left alone by design. Use the brush. Smart cleanup can sometimes close larger boundaries by paring back the rim before filling, or close it in a dedicated mesh editor and re-import. Fill holes produced an obviously wrong patch, like a flat sheet bridging 2 arches. The filter saw an open path it considered closable. Undo, then pre-merge the 2 shells in your scanning tool, or trim one shell's rim with a brush and rerun. Smooth made the anatomy look soft. The global smooth is mild but visible on dense scans. Undo to restore the previous geometry, or re-import the original, and consider local smoothing instead so only the noisy patch is relaxed. The browser tab feels frozen for several seconds. Both commands run on the main thread, so that's normal. Wait for the status line to update, because interrupting by reloading the tab is how you lose unsaved work. And an empty result failure usually means the input was already broken in a way the filter couldn't recover. Run fix model first to clean the topology, then come back and run fill holes or smooth on the cleaned mesh. So that's the gentle pair: fill holes when the boundaries are the problem, smooth when the surface is the problem, and both in one click across the whole mesh, with fix model above them for the full repair, and the brushes beside them for targeted work. Master which of the 3 whole surface commands fits which symptom, and most incoming scans become a 30-second job. Run them in the right order: repair first, boundaries next, smoothing last, and undo immediately when a pass oversteps, because the one-step undo only protects the most recent action. The written guide, with every status message, the full comparison table, and the pairing advice, is at cympha.com under Docs: How to Fill Holes and Smooth a Mesh in Cympha Studio. We're walking through every Cympha workflow, one lecture at a time, so subscribe if you want the rest of the series. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.